What's up, everybody? This is Evil Ed saying Happy Halloween 2016. Gonna give you a daytime walk around of my front and backyard of what I've got set up here. A lot of this stuff is store-bought. Some of it was store-bought and converted into something a lot more sick and grotesque. Anyway, y'all can be the judge for yourselves. Start right here with my voodoo shrine. As you can see, we got everything from hanging fingers. I think that's a thumb on the left. Skulls. In here we've got a body. Now this is just a regular plastic posable skeleton that I picked up a few years ago. He was the first guy I ever corpsed. And if you ever want to learn how to corpse a skeleton, it's really easy. Go to YouTube and just look up Stilt Beast Studios. That's the guy I learned from. But yeah, I did a pretty good job on him, and obviously he needs touched up, but I'm all out of what the hell you call that? Oh, somebody help me out. Anyway, Scarecrow. Yeah, I'm gonna fire him because he can't scare anything away from my garden and stuff like that. Moving on, here's another simple one. It does have a working hinge. Got a couple of hands jutting out of there. But yeah, there's a handle right there. The hinge is somewhere, who cares. But at night, I've got a hidden black light right here. So when everything's pitch black, all this glows in the dark pretty well. And I'm one of those freaks that I'm one of those kind of freaks that I think every day should be Halloween. So long time ago, well, a few years ago, whatever, this does not come down. This stays up all year round. Drives people nuts. They drive by and go, what do we got? S. Quentin Quayle, aka Dr. Satan, Thomas Hewitt, and any of you guys that are true horror fans, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Little tomb to the voodoo queen of New Orleans, Marie Laveau. Elizabeth Bathory, the female version of Count Dracula. Yes, Resident Evil Cemetery. And what do we got here? My mortuary. The windows are colored, and yes, they do light up at night when the sun goes down. What do we got here? Anne de Chartrand, one of the first witches burnt back during the witch trials in France, I believe. I can't remember what part of France. Moving along here, who else do we got? Yes, Reverend Henry Kane. Anybody that's seen Poltergeist 2 knows exactly who I'm talking about. Lawrence Talbot. If you don't know who that is, then you're a moron. You need to study up on your horror. And of course, back here, this is probably one of my favorite ones. Yeah, Vincent Price. One of the masters of horrors. I definitely had to do one in his honor, for sure. Yeah, I like this guy too. I picked him up at Menards, I believe, last year or the year before. He's just really cool. I thought he was a nice touch. And this is just a backyard because I like to have stuff like this in front and back. Just makes it a lot more festive. Okay, this is my first attempt at building an electric chair. Let me introduce you people to Edward Delacroix. This is not a full skeleton. It was just a bag of bones that I bought. And I used a PVC pipe, an old piece of Tupperware, and obviously some old clothes that I burnt and sprayed. But I have to keep him in the shed because if this guy gets wet, that's some fake blood that I used I made it out of that clear Elmer's glue and some bits of food coloring. But got a strobe light above him that makes noises and he screams for help and so forth. A little close up. Yeah, he's pretty charred up. But yeah, as you can see, some of it's kind of cracking a little bit. I might touch that up with some paint in a little while. But yep, Edward Delacroix. Electricity will pass through your body until you are dead, and may God have mercy on your soul. And this all lights up a nice green or whatever at nighttime. I wish I could have found more of these because it plays a Halloween theme to obviously Halloween. But this guy's really cool. This dude here, He's loud and he'll scare the heck out of you. He's shut off for right now, but that might be about the only thing I've got that's animatronic. You know, he's supposed to flap his gums, but that's about it. Or his teeth, gums, whatever. Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones here. I painted it a nice gloss, although it's a bit dusty. And my own design of a golden crucifix on the back that I put in with a router and then obviously paintbrush. And yeah, that's a black light. I got to come up with something better next year. Don't ask me about the knife. I figured, what the hell, I just shank it in his ribs. All right, let's go check out the main part of the attraction out in the front yard. Oh yeah, my live werewolf. He looks vicious, but he's a puss. What you doing, boy? What you doing, boy? Okay. I wish it wasn't so damn windy out. Resident Evil, that's something I came up with about 4 years ago. Ah yes, Radioactive Man. That's what you want to call him. Couldn't think of a good name. Yeah, somebody that was not happy locked in with all this toxic sludge. And again, this was just a junk barrel that I found. Spray painted it a neon yellow. Black light right there. He glows in the dark pretty good at night. Obviously a lot of spray foam, some plastic. I purposely broke his arm off like it was just becoming detached. Same thing with part of his jaw, if you look closer this way. And obviously one of his eyes come out and you can see all the tendrils and flesh that are still holding on to it and so forth. But yeah, he looks pretty disgusting. I was proud of this one. Oh man, seriously? I gotta see if I got any green paint left or something. I gotta fix that. I haven't made a sign for it yet, but I should have. I was gonna call this, yeah, got my sound effects out there already, giving them a bench test. I was gonna kind of call this Drayton Sawyer's Gorilla Go-Go. Little salute to Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2 from the 80s with Bill Moseley, that you guys remember as Otis from the Rob Zombie movies, Jim Saito, the cook, and Dennis Hopper, the crazed Texas Ranger or whatever he was. This Reaper here, his head's got a light inside of it, and this is why I hate it when it's windy, because it keeps exposing all the parts that wasn't painted. And a few goofy tombstones that I came up with myself. Dracula, the blood is the life, and that is a salute to the movie, by the way. Phantom of the Opera, guy coming out of the ground. This is a dude right here that at night he looks like he's either coming out of or he's being burnt alive in just, you know, bright orange hot embers and coals and stuff like that. Is a little trick that I learned earlier this year on one of those do-it-yourself Halloween videos. It's really easy to do, it's really cheap. And yes, Monster High does rule in this place. I'm not ashamed. Yeah. Any other true blue horror films, they know exactly what this is. This is one of my favorite tombstones I made. Here's a first full-size skeleton that I had corpsed. He's not as glossy or juicy as he used to look. You know, after a while it just kind of wears off. The more you bend their limbs, the more you get stuff like that where it's just exposed plastic that wasn't touched. Here's another one that I came up with. My daughter hates clowns too, so I was pretty happy when I came up with this one. Bloopy Scream Shack. Oh yeah. And at night, there's a black light in there, and I purposely painted it to make it look like a really long corridor. I've got blinking Christmas lights and a black light inside, so the effect is really, really cool. And this guy's motion activated. And here's a little salute to Captain Spaulding. I don't know if he charges $3 admission or with free fried chicken, but I do. Another favorite of mine, Tarman. And I took the lid off of the barrel here because Hang on, let me shut this thing off. Took the lid off of the barrel because it got a little, got some condensation inside there. But hang on, let me fix this. Anybody that hasn't seen Return of the Living Dead Part 2 from the 80s, it was a great movie, even though it was low budget. But this is Tarman, probably the most famous zombie in that movie. I really worked hard to try to make him look exactly the way he appeared in the movie and stuff like that. And again, it's just plastic, paint, some black trash bags, a heat gun. There's so much you can do with one of these. And I even bought string of ears from that Walking Dead or whatever, because he needed a pair of ears for sure. And yep, this is what in the movie, this is kind of what they look like before they get let out. Another junk barrel that I got from a place I used to work at. And yes, the stencil on the side is exactly as it reads in the movie. This right here is my pride and joy. 18 or 1700 style hearse, horse-drawn carriage. Built mostly out of scrap wood. Just got my driver earlier last week. And yeah, it took me about 2.5 months roughly to build this. And it rolls pretty good. It's holding up really well. These lights here, they're just flicker bulbs because I didn't want them to be too bright. But yeah, the windows are sealed off, no rain gets in there. It lights up on the inside as well. And of course I had to add some beads and adornments to it because a lot of the hearses had that, especially the more higher class ones or whatever. And a corpse inside. I don't know if you can see him too well or not, but he's a pretty bloody mess right now. And you can't quite tell all that well, but he's got black roses tipped with red or purple glitter. I thought that was a nice touch, but anybody asks what his story is, I'll just say, hey, he just had an unfortunate encounter with a lycanthrope and lost. Whatever. Let's see if I can get this door open here and we can get a better look inside. There you go. Yeah, overall I'm very, very proud of this guy here. I mean, he just looks mangled, and as you can see, that's pretty cool. Almost disgusting. I'm almost grossing myself out. But yeah, I am extremely proud of what I built here. It's the first time I ever tried something like this. Couple of crypts or whatever. More and there's Victor Frankenstein, there's Death, another favorite zombie of mine. And also, if you're into voodoo, that's Baron Samedi. He's the guardian of the gates between this world and the next. But that's about it. Cheap ass hangman's gallows here with a ghost hanging on it. And yes, that guillotine works. That is not a real blade, but it does work. So I got it triple knotted right there. Nobody's gonna get their finger cut off, but if that comes down, it's definitely gonna mess up somebody's day. They won't be playing guitar for a while. So this is it. This is the tour of Resident Evil's Halloween setup. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If I talk too much, well, sorry about that. But I will be back again, because later on tonight, when it's dark and everything's lit up and I got all my battery powered stuff turned on, and also the strobe lights inside and out. So I will see you guys later. Again, hope you enjoyed.